The autumn rain drummed against the tall windows of Ashford and Sterling, one of London's most prestigious investment firms. Inside the executive suite on the 14th floor, champagne waited on ice. Today was meant to be the pinnacle of Oliver Ashford's career. At 38, Oliver had spent 15 years building his wealth management firm into a powerhouse that handled billions in assets. His tailored Savile Row suit, his corner office overlooking the Thames, his reputation in the city, all of it had come from relentless work and careful decisions. Today, he would sign a merger with Continental Finance Group, a European conglomerate, promising to expand his reach across the continent. Everyone said this deal would make him one of the most influential financiers in Britain. His business partner and oldest friend from Cambridge, Sebastian Hunt, clapped him on the shoulder. "After today, old boy, we'll be unstoppable." Oliver smiled faintly, though something nagged at him. "Let's just get it signed first." Across the mahogany table sat Herr Klaus Dietrich, Continental's representative, a sharp-eyed German with an impeccable accent. "Mr. Ashford, once you sign here, your firm officially merges with Continental Finance. Congratulations." As Oliver reached for the Mont Blanc pen, the door opened quietly. "Terribly sorry, sir. Just collecting the bins." Everyone turned. It was Arthur Pemberton, the elderly porter who'd worked in the building for decades. He wore his burgundy uniform with brass buttons, his grey hair neatly combed, and pushed a cleaning trolley with quiet efficiency. Sebastian frowned with irritation. "Arthur, we're rather busy here." "Won't be a moment, Mr. Hunt," Arthur said politely, moving to empty the wastepaper baskets. Nobody paid him much attention as he worked his way around the room. But when he reached Oliver's chair, he bent down to collect the bin beside the desk and whispered so softly only Oliver could hear, "Don't sign that, sir, it's a trap." Oliver's hand froze. The pen slipped from his fingers and clattered onto the polished table. Arthur straightened up, his expression perfectly neutral, and continued collecting rubbish as if nothing had happened. Then he quietly pushed his trolley toward the door. Oliver's mind spun. "Trap? What trap? Everything all right, Oliver?" Sebastian asked, his smile fading. Klaus leaned forward. "Mr. Ashford, shall we proceed?" Oliver swallowed hard. I need 5 minutes. Please excuse me." Sebastian's eyes narrowed. 5 minutes? Whatever for? "Personal matter," Oliver said firmly, standing. 5 minutes. He walked out into the corridor. "Arthur," he called sharply. The old porter stopped, turning slowly. "Yes, Mr. Ashford, come with me." Now Oliver led him into a small meeting room and shut the door. "Talk. What did you mean by trap?" Arthur stood by the door, his weathered hands clasped together. "I know this sounds balmy, sir, but you must listen. I've overheard things, conversations not meant for my ears. Mr. Hunt and Continental, they're setting you up. If you sign that contract, you'll lose your firm." Oliver stared at him, incredulous. "You're a porter. How would you possibly know about?" "Because I've been here every evening for 23 years, Arthur interrupted gently. "I empty bins. I clean offices after everyone leaves, and people forget I exist. They talk as if I'm not there. Why should I believe you?" Oliver demanded. Arthur's blue eyes were steady. "Because I have proof, sir. Documents, recordings, things I've collected over the past month. I know you think I'm just a porter, but I'm not stupid. I know what fraud looks like." Oliver studied him carefully. The old man had no reason to lie. He had nothing to gain. "Show me," Oliver said quietly. "Not here, too risky. Meet me tonight at 7 o'clock at the Coal Hole Pub in the Strand. I'll bring everything." Oliver hesitated, then nodded. "Fine, 7 o'clock. But if you're wasting my time..." "I'm not," Sir Arthur said firmly. I give you my word." Back in the boardroom, the atmosphere had chilled considerably. "Everything sorted?" Sebastian asked tightly. "Actually," Oliver said, sitting down slowly, "I've decided to review several clauses more thoroughly before signing." Klaus's smile vanished. "Mr. Ashford, we've spent months finalizing these terms." "Then one more day won't hurt," Oliver replied coolly. "Meeting adjourned until tomorrow." Sebastian's jaw clenched. "Oliver, you're making us look amateurish." "My decision," Oliver said, standing and collecting the contract. "I'll be in touch." He walked out, leaving behind stunned faces and angry whispers. That evening, Oliver sat in a corner booth at the Coal Hole, a historic pub thick with the smell of ale and old wood. Arthur arrived precisely at 7, carrying a worn leather satchel. "Thank you for coming, sir," Arthur said, sliding into the booth. "Show me what you have," Oliver said impatiently. Arthur pulled out a tablet surprisingly modern for a man his age and opened a folder of files. "It started 4 weeks ago. I was cleaning Mr. Hunt's office late one evening when I heard voices in the conference room. The door was ajar." He pressed play on an audio recording. Sebastian's voice came through clearly. "Once Oliver signs, the ownership structure changes immediately. He thinks he's retaining 65% control, but clause 14.7 in the actual contract reduces him to 18%. A woman's voice responded, "And the client portfolios transferred to Continental within 48 hours, Sebastian said. "Oliver will be left with nothing but debt and a ruined reputation. Serves him right for always playing the golden boy." Oliver felt the blood drain from his face. That's Sebastian." "Yes, sir," Arthur said quietly, "and the woman is Natasha Volkov. She's been visiting him after hours for weeks." Oliver's hands trembled. Natasha, his ex-fiancée, the woman who'd left him 3 years ago, claiming he was emotionally unavailable. Arthur scrolled through more files. Photographs of documents, bank statements showing Sebastian had already received 3 million euros from Continental. Screenshots of emails detailing the conspiracy. "This contract," Arthur said, showing him 2 versions side by side, "has been altered. The one they want you to sign strips you of everything your father built." Oliver's father had founded Ashford and Sterling 40 years ago. He'd died of a heart attack 5 years back, leaving Oliver to carry on the legacy. "Why are you helping me?" Oliver asked, his voice rough. Arthur looked down at his weathered hands. "Because 30 years ago, I was a chartered accountant at Barings Bank. I discovered irregularities fraud, actually. When I reported it to my supervisor, my best mate since university, he buried the evidence and destroyed my career. Blacklisted me across the city. I lost everything." He met Oliver's eyes. "I became a porter because it was the only work I could find. But I never forgot how to spot financial fraud, and I couldn't watch it happen to someone else. Not when I could prevent it." Oliver felt a lump form in his throat. "Arthur, I had no idea." "Nobody does, sir. Nobody sees the porter." Arthur smiled sadly. "But that's precisely why I could gather this evidence. I'm invisible." Over the next 3 days, Arthur and Oliver worked together carefully. Arthur used his access to the building to photograph the original contracts hidden in Sebastian's office safe. He'd memorized the combination. After months of watching Sebastian open it while he dusted, they compiled everything: audio recordings, financial transfers, forged documents, emails between Sebastian, Klaus, and Natasha, plotting to strip Oliver of his life's work. On the 4th day, Oliver called a meeting with Sebastian and Klaus. But this time, he'd also invited the firm's solicitor, the board of directors, and 2 officers from the Financial Conduct Authority. When Sebastian walked in and saw the crowd, his face went pale. "What's all this?" he demanded. Oliver stood calmly at the head of the table. "This is where I expose your fraud, Sebastian." For the next hour, Oliver presented everything. The recordings played through the speakers. The forged contracts projected onto screens. The bank transfers displayed for everyone to see. Sebastian tried to argue, to deflect, but the evidence was overwhelming. "You were my friend," Oliver said quietly, his voice heavy with betrayal. "My oldest friend. Why?" Sebastian's mask finally cracked. "Because I was tired of being in your shadow," he shouted. "St. Oliver Ashford, the golden boy who inherited everything. I've worked just as hard, but you got all the glory because of your bloody surname. So you decided to destroy me," Oliver said coldly. "I decided to take what I deserved." Sebastian spat. The FCA officers stood. "Sebastian Hunt, you're under investigation for fraud, conspiracy, and breach of fiduciary duty." Security escorted him out in handcuffs. 6 months later, the Ashford Foundation for Financial Literacy opened in a renovated building in Canary Wharf. The charity would teach underserved communities about money management and investing, something Oliver's father had always dreamed of doing. At the opening ceremony, Oliver stood at the podium, but he gestured for Arthur to join him. "This man saved my company," Oliver told the assembled crowd of journalists and dignitaries. Not because he wanted recognition or reward, but because 30 years ago, he was betrayed for doing the right thing. Today, I'm honored to announce Arthur Pemberton as the Foundation's Chief Operating Officer. His degree from the LSE and his decades of experience will finally be valued again. The audience applauded warmly. Arthur, now in a proper suit, smiled with quiet dignity. Afterward, they stood on the balcony overlooking the Thames, watching boats drift past. "What happened to Sebastian?" Arthur asked. "He's awaiting trial." Natasha fled to Moscow. "Klaus is cooperating with authorities in exchange for immunity." Arthur nodded thoughtfully. "And Continental?" Their board fired their entire acquisitions team. The company's reputation is in tatters. They stood in comfortable silence as the autumn sun broke through the clouds, casting golden light across the river. "Arthur," Oliver said softly, "I spent my whole life thinking success meant power and reputation. But you taught me something more important. Character matters more than credentials. Kindness matters more than status." The old man smiled. "In my years as a porter, Mr. Ashford, I learned that the world judges people by their titles, but God judges them by their hearts. Never forget, greatness isn't found in corner offices. It's found in the courage to do right when no one's watching." As they walked back inside, Oliver thought about how close he'd come to losing everything his father built, all because he'd almost dismissed the whispered warning of a man the world taught him not to see. Sometimes salvation comes not from boardrooms, but from those society overlooks.